Great. So we'll see who else comes and joins us before we get started. Oh, the numbers are rocking up now.
Oh, fabulous.
Which is really good. I hope you've had a good day today, everybody. Yourself a nice brew before you settle down with us this evening.
Or a glass of wine, whichever you prefer.
Or a glass of wine, yeah. and I thought about it, but I thought I best not.
I've got my cup of tea. I've got a cup of tea.
You've got your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a really good number of people now. So I will share our screen and we'll get started. I'm sure there'll be a few more people bobbing on just while we're kind of introducing ourselves anyway. So hopefully you can hear us loud and clear and all is working well. We did do a little test before just to check everything was working. We're quite new to this experience, so thank you to Happy Confident Company for inviting us onto the 7-Day Family Challenge, first of all, and taking part in this Power of Yet theme for your Tuesday. It's kind of a bit of a chance meeting that this has come across, really. Liz got chatting with the owners of Happy Confident Me last week.
Yeah,
only last
week.
So it's a whirlwind, but we're really pleased to be able to come and share with you some bits and pieces this evening. Just a little bit about our company before we get started. My name's Gemma, and obviously we've got Liz with me as well. We're like the Ant and Dec of growth mindset. Now, essentially, we are actually primary teachers, myself with 15 years experience and Liz with 10. And we left the classroom back in 2018 after being really inspired about a journey involving growth mindset, not only for the children in our classrooms, but also for ourselves. So what we do now is we go around a lot of schools up and down the country, but also working with businesses, delivering training to adults and training to teaching staff, but also workshops for children as well. And as well as that, during lockdown especially, we've been working one-to-one with children via Zoom, doing mindset motivation sessions, which are a lot of fun for us to take part in. As well as that, in the middle of a lockdown, what do? You go and write a book. So we wrote a children's book in the middle of lockdown. Our first children's book, Eddie Effort, was released in December last year, all about a boy, and it kind of fits in with tonight actually, about a boy who's found learning quite easy, but then hits something that he can't do, which is painting. And it's all about his journey and his struggles and coming to understand what's actually going on with his learning in that story. So that's really fitting with tonight. As we are quite new to this experience, we'll try and have a look at some of your questions and comments as they come in this evening. But if there's anything we miss, or we can't access them for whatever reason because we're coming to you through Zoom, so it makes it a little bit more complicated, we will come back to them and answer all your questions later on. So if you do want to ask us anything, please bob it into the comments and we will get back to you. But I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to let lovely Liz take over from here.
Fantastic. Hi, everybody. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to build on the next 45 minutes, the information that we give you. We are going to focus on the power of yet, but that comes later because it's really important that we actually have a really good understanding of mindset to be able to understand what the power of yet actually means. Okay, so if you were to go and pick up a dictionary and look for the definition of the word mindset, this is what you would find. So a mindset is a set of beliefs or a way of thinking that determines your behavior, your outlook and your attitude. So your mindset is who you are as an individual. It's your persona. Okay, now what I find fascinating is if you think about your brain controls everything, your mindset controls your brain. And that just shows how powerful it really is. But our mindsets are molded. So your mindset as adults, parents watching, and the mindsets of your children at the moment are being molded in stages of influence. Okay, so from birth to 7 years old, our mindset is molded in terms of our developing a sense of self. so that our life experiences in that age bracket and the influences that we have around us begin to develop our emotional well-being. And we also start to develop our inner core belief systems within that age bracket. Then from 8 to 13, we begin to role model. So this is where we begin to role model based on the messages that we've been soaking up from our influences and our life experiences. We role model our influences. So that's our parents. That's could be our teachers, it could be our friends, it could be our siblings, okay? So we begin to adopt similar actions, behaviours and beliefs of those people around us. Then from the age of 14 to 21, this is where our identity kicks in. So our mindset is influenced by where we fit in with things. And it could be where we fit in within friendship groups. It could be where we fit in within intelligence ranking within classrooms, okay, within social groups. So this is a heavily influential period. And I think more so now with the impacts of social media, I think teenagers are influenced by a wider field, okay, in terms of their mindset. Now, at the age of 21, our brain physically stops growing in size, but our mindset is malleable, which means it changes, okay? But very often we grow up through those stages of influence, hit adulthood, and have certain beliefs about ourselves that we can do certain things, we can't do other things. And if you're anything like me, I've got into my late 40s before I started this journey and not really reflected on my mindset or being mindset aware, okay? Now, it says on the screen that learning is limitless, and it absolutely is. But it depends on the mindset. It depends on your mindset will determine the progress that you make, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to have a little look at why myself and Gemma became so passionate for ourselves, but also for the children that we work with, plus our families as well. Now, Carol Dweck has researched the impact of mindset for the past 30 plus years, okay? But what she hasn't done is created mindset. Mindsets have always been around, they always have been, and they always will be. But what she's done is she's created a platform. She's created a platform for people to engage in their own mindset, but not just in the world of education, which is where myself and Gemma have come from, but actually in the world of business and in the world of sport. If any of you guys listen to Sky Sports on a Saturday or during the week, the number of times the pundits mention mindset of the players, of the coach, it's unbelievable. Yeah, once you recognise it, just count how many times it's out there, okay? So I mentioned that she created a platform, and what she's done is coined the terms fixed and growth mindset, okay? And what that's done for lots of people, including myself and Gemma, is created a starting point. She's created a point at which we can reflect and then change, okay? And she's also created clarity around the psychology of mindset. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce you to the two mindsets that has been coined by Carol Dweck. So on the screen at the moment, you'll notice the head in the middle has a lock on it. And we're going to refer to this as the fixed mindset, okay? And the reason it has a lock on it is because this mindset that we all have, everyone has a fixed mindset, this mindset prohibits growth, and that's why the brain's got the lock. This mindset is a judgmental mindset. It's our critical mindset. It's the one where our inner belief system that we've been developing from being a young child, remember the 3 stages, our inner belief system kicks in with this mindset, okay? And it's an impulsive mindset. It comes out really quickly. Now you'll notice the thought bubbles around the head. These are some of the common behaviours or thoughts or actions that we have when we have a fixed mindset trigger. And if you're resonating with any of these at the minute, that is fantastic, because this is where the journey starts. Because it's when we start to get friendly with our fixed mindset that we can create that point of change. If we ignore our fixed mindset, if we are embarrassed about it, or we internalize it as a shameful admission, or that we're a bad person, nothing's going to change. Okay, so it's about embracing this mindset and taking it on a journey. Now, I'm resonating with quite a few of these when I started my journey, predominantly avoiding challenges and giving up quickly, especially if I was surrounded by other people, other adults, other teachers. I'd hang back and let other people do it first, or I'd be a bit of a meerkat and look at what other people were doing before I was confident enough to step forth and put myself forward for the challenge. Okay, so if we default, or when we default to our fixed mindset, if we default to it quite regularly, you can imagine that this mindset cultivates a self-defeating identity. We start to become trapped by the beliefs that we have of ourselves that limit us, and we might end up sticking to what we know, stick to what we feel safe with. Okay, so we end up within our comfort zone and the skills that we've already developed. Now, the other mindset coined by Carol Dweck was growth mindset, and you'll notice the thought bubbles are a flip of what you've just seen. Okay, now when we start to develop our growth mindset, our perception changes of the situations that we're in. Our language changes, our emotions change, because everything is a result of a thought. We react from our thoughts. So when we develop our growth mindset, or we invite ourselves to become more growth orientated, things like failure and setbacks and mistakes and challenges are seen as opportunities to grow. Okay, whereas at the moment, I think you'd agree that within our culture, those words, challenge, setback, failure, mistakes, we deem them as being quite negative. And I think it's because of the reactions we have as we're growing up from other people around us. Oh, you're finding that really tricky? Or, oh, is that really hard? Are you struggling? And the tone of voice and the way we say things deem it to be, oh, that's something that maybe I shouldn't be feeling. Okay. So with a growth mindset, nudging ourselves towards growth, like I said, changes our thought processes, gives us a confidence, develops that inner core belief system, but it takes time. Okay, this is not something that happens overnight. It's not something that we can nag people around us to have. Okay, this is something that myself and Gemma recognised. If we wanted our children within our classes, and if we wanted to be that positive influence in our families, we had to go on the journey ourselves as adults, connecting with our own fixed mindset triggers, taking that on a journey and developing our growth mindset. Okay, so what we came up with was what we call the continuum. Okay, so this is something we developed because when you start looking at growth mindset, and there are lots of resources out there, lots and lots, but you'll notice that quite a few have simplified the work of Carol Dweck and almost stigmatized mindset, in that we've got one versus the other. So we've got fixed versus growth, which you can look at it as bad versus good. We've even seen resources with Yoda versus Darth Vader. So two separate characters, one's fixed, one's growth. And that is not the way we are. Nobody is 100% fixed and nobody is 100% growth. We move between the two, and it's a real fluid movement. Okay, you can wake up one day with all intention of having that positive mindset, raring to go, eager to learn new things. Somebody could give you a look, say a word to you, or you could have an experience that moves you down to being fixed. Okay, and it's whether your choice is, do you stay there because that will be the outcome, you've got that choice, or you can choose to nudge yourself to become more growth. And that's where the journey is. Okay, so that's that pathway to being more growth orientated. Okay. Ooh.
Sorry, they all just flipped on at once.
Were you being fidget fingers there, Jem?
No, it just kind of flippity jipped. But I'm here now, I'm here. So today's theme is all about the power of yet, and this is a term that Carol also kind of coined, and she did an amazing TED talk. If you ever get the chance to just have a little Google onto YouTube, and if you look up the power of yet, Carol Dweck's TED talk is there talking about this theory that she came up with. And basically it's this idea and this confidence that allows children and adults to realize that actually learning is a path to the future. Okay, and actually anything can be achieved if you have this philosophy. I know Liz is going to talk a little bit later about how, again, some of Carol Dweck's work has been taken and misunderstood. But the theory of power of yet is all around this idea of us being able to achieve anything we want to, but it's about taking time, which I know that Liz has already mentioned. And sometimes we find this quite tricky to understand, because especially when we were teaching, we'd have children who wanted things now. And we live in that kind of society, don't we? And we call it the Amazon effect, where things happen straight away. So you want a book and you order it off Amazon and it arrives the next day. You're hungry, you go on the Just Eat app and it arrives in 30 minutes. And things are wanted now. We have deadlines at work and, you know, in our businesses. We have targets to meet in our classrooms. We have an expectation with home learning. So everything's really fast paced. We've got to pick things up quick. We've got to understand them quick. We then got to deliver them quick as well. And when it actually comes to learning and being in the classroom, children would think that this was the same, and a lot of children still do think this is the same now, and sometimes even parents, we think this is the same. And we kind of get impatient with learning as well, and the time that it actually takes. So what's kind of happened is that everybody has got embroiled in this idea that things should happen quickly, because life is quick, everything's quick. Why is not learning? And Carol Dweck came up with this quote here: instead of luxuriating in the power of yet, many children are gripped in the tyranny of now. Okay, so feeling that their intelligence is being judged all the time, depending on how quickly they grasp new ideas and how quickly they can solve problems, or how quickly they understand a new concept that they're learning in the classroom, and feel powerless and feel stupid if they don't understand something straight away, and get really impatient with it. So this power of yet is giving us that opportunity that learning takes time, but also that we can learn anything that we want to, as long as we put the patience and the effort and the energy into it. So this is a lovely little quote here. There's a difference between not knowing and not knowing yet. So sometimes when we're faced with challenges, things that are going to be tricky, we might say to ourselves quite quickly, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not going to be good at this, or I don't get this. And quite often in the classroom as well, and maybe you've experienced this yourself during this lockdown, when children have been set a task, they look at it, they don't like the look at it, and they put their hand up, or they're going, Mom, Dad, or in the class, Miss, I don't get it, without actually taking the time to take in what it's actually asking them to do. So again, they're looking and thinking, I need an instant reaction. I need to understand this straight away. Okay, so children are expecting that they would get something and they need to know the answer. In fact, I had a child today who was doing some curriculum work with a calculation, and because it was quite big numbers, it was straight away, I can't do it. But actually thinking about it and giving them the strategies, thinking about what previous learning they've had, he was able to solve the calculation. But his instant reaction was, it's too hard. Okay. Our fixed mindset, as Liz has already talked about, comes into play with everybody, and it also comes into play very quickly. It's a part of our brain that's there to protect us, make us feel safe, and to stop us from feeling stupid, okay, in front of our peers, our friends, or even our family. So our fixed mindset will come into play, and it will start to say things to us like, I can't do it, or I'm not going to be able to do this. So just in case we do have a go and it doesn't work out, because then we can start saying to everybody, well, I told you, didn't I? I said I wasn't going to be able to do it. I said I can't do this. I said it was too hard, and look, I proved myself right. So I just want you to have a bit of a think, because Liz mentioned that this is a family journey. This just isn't just for your children. This is about you as well. So have a little think about your own fixed mindset, and that little voice inside your head that sometimes says things to you, especially when you're challenged. So it might be a challenge at work, it might be a challenge in the home, it might be a frustration that you have. Okay, it doesn't have to be something new that you're learning new, it just might be a situation that you might find challenging. And what is your fixed mindset saying? Is it saying, oh, I give up, oh, I'm fed up with this, oh, this is doing my head in? You know, have a little think, what is actually going on inside your head when you're faced with a challenge? Because you can guarantee that's exactly what's happening with your children as well. So this is where the magic comes in, okay, the power of yet. And it's been lovely to see a couple of people already engaging with the activity that we've got for you this evening and sharing it with their children. So this is what we want to work on with your children next time they find something difficult. Now remember that if we're developing a growth mindset, challenge actually is good. Something that's a little bit tricky and makes children feel a little bit uncomfortable, and adults too, is actually a good thing, okay? Because that's where we make the most growth. That's where our brain activity is the highest, okay? So we do want things to be a little bit challenging. But if your child is saying, oh, I can't do this, or I don't get this, then repeat it back to them, but use that idea of yet. I don't get this yet. I can't do this yet. Because what we're now saying to our children is, it's not that you're never going to be able to do this. It's that you are just need to learn some more before you will be able to do it. Okay, we're inviting them to continue the learning to be able to achieve the skill that they think they can't do or don't understand. The most important thing with it is to understand, though, we can't just stick yet onto the end of everything that we say. So we can't say, oh, I'm no good at this yet, I don't understand this yet, unless we're going to do something next. Okay, so the power's not in the word yet, the power is in what we do after and in between. Because we could say on Monday, no, I can't do this yet, and then wake up on Tuesday, I still can't do this yet, and on Wednesday, I really still can't do this yet, and nothing's changed. Okay, it's not a magic word, it's about the effort and the action that we put in after saying yet. Okay, so maybe you know, and a question that I would say to children is, okay, so you don't understand this yet, what are you going to do now? Okay, and you might need to give your children some ideas until they get the idea of using the power of yet. So it might be that they need to go away and practice. Okay, so it might be to do more practice. It might be they need to do some research. So they might need to go and read something. They might need to watch a video. They might need to Google something. They might need to read something. They might need to just ask somebody else as well, or seek feedback. Okay, so they might need to say, well, how do you think I can improve this piece of work? Okay, if they can't do it yet. It might be they need to ask some more questions. It might be that you need to ask them some questions. It might be that they need to try a different strategy, okay, so that they can achieve their yet. So it's not a case of just giving them the answer, because quite often children will say, well, I can't do this yet, can you help me? And actually what they're asking is, can you do it for me? Okay, so allowing our children to struggle is a good thing. Okay, we're there to support them through it by offering ideas or offering some feedback of how they can improve, or giving them some advice of what they can do by seeking research and that kind of thing. Okay, so seek the power of yet, really powerful. Sticking that word on the end isn't just enough. You need to do the action as well.
Okay. Oh, I unmuted myself without realising. Right, okay. So I hope that's clarifying a little bit more in terms of the word yet. It's an incredible CVC word, but it's not, like Gemma said, a magic wand. Okay, and remember, it's the path where the power is, and that's what Carol Dweck talked about. she talked about the journey to developing yourself, to achieving and developing your skills and your abilities, but not putting a cap on yourself saying you can't do it yet, is in the future. So you're giving yourself that time to learn those skills. But the journey between attempts, as adults, we need to role model this. Okay, so let's share our power of yets with our children. Okay, share your struggles, share your challenges and the things that you do in between attempts, role modeling it, explaining it, scaffolding it. That is what we want to do in order to create those independent learners within our children. We're almost giving them a little bit of a toolkit of skills that they can hone in on when they're faced with challenges or setbacks or difficulties. But that path that we talk about is how they embrace all elements of growth mindset. So how they learn from their mistakes, how they embrace the challenge, how they seek feedback or embrace feedback from other people. Okay, so all elements of developing a growth mindset. So we've got some little tips here just to get you thinking, maybe sow a little bit of a seed. So the first one is, think about what I already know that will help me. Now, Gemma's already mentioned that in this situation with working with the child with a calculation. So think about what you already know, okay? And it's taking that time to allow your logical, rational thoughts to come through rather than that impulsive panic that tends to come out quite quickly. Learn from the mistakes that I make as I go along. And that's really crucial. It's changing the perception of what a mistake is. It's not a negative, it's a positive. It's a springboard to the future. Okay. So the next one, focus and take my time. Think carefully. Try not to get distracted. Okay. So time, Gemma's mentioned about the Amazon effect. We need that time to learn new skills. It's not a quick thing. Okay. Ask for some feedback, guidance or support, but like Gemma said, you don't want the answer. You want to find out for yourself. So encourage your children to seek the answers from themselves. If they're really still struggling, it's that coaching element, okay? Guiding them through it rather than saying, oh, the answer's this, to make them feel better for that one moment in time, okay? The next one, to believe in myself that I can do hard things. Belief is really important, but we always say belief plus action equals progress. Okay, you've got to do the action bit. You can believe all you want, but without the action, you're not going to get much further. Okay, but start to believe that you can do hard things and change your dialogue. So when you're faced with a challenge, this is too hard. This is hard, but I'm going to learn something from this. I'm really going to develop my skills, or I'm going to grow my brain, whatever it is. Make that challenge a positive. Okay. And keep practicing until I understand it. It's not a quick fix, 2 attempts and then stop. That used to be my trigger, remember? Faced with challenges, I'd give up quite quickly. Yeah, it's about taking your time, learning from your mistakes, trying new strategies, seeking feedback until you get there. Okay, and it's also reminding them of things, children and yourself, sharing things that you found challenging, but actually now you find quite easy. You've been on a journey with that challenge. So reinforcing those situations is really important too within the power of yet. Okay. So what we've done, and we've noticed a few people have already downloaded this. It is available in the admin file through the website, but it's also available as a free resource on our website as well, just in case you're struggling to find it. So there's a real good detailed information sheet for parents linked to the power of yet for that. And then the other activity is a comic strip. And what we want you all to get involved with it, not just your children, you do it as adults as well. Okay, so print yourselves a copy each and think of something that you found challenging in the past, but now you can do. And use the comic strip segments to outline that path, that journey that you went on. Okay, you can add more bubbles and whatever you want, get creative, yeah, but then share your power of yet journey. So something you couldn't do at the beginning, you found a real struggle, What did you do? What strategies? How did you learn those skills to eventually achieve the outcome? Yeah, the progress that you made. And it's about recognizing that in everybody and using that power of yet the next time you're faced with a challenge or a setback, okay, or something tricky. Okay.
Oh, lots of fun to be had there with felt tips and pencils and pencil crayons, isn't there? Getting creative, fabulous. So we hope you found that useful. As I said at the beginning, if anyone's dropped any comments into the live feed for us, we will come back to them. I have been checking while Liz has been talking, but we can't. I can't access those comments at the moment. So be rest assured, if you have any questions, you know, just it's absolutely fine to bob them in the comments. We will come back to you as soon as possible. We won't forget about you, but we hope you found that useful, and most of all, go and have a bit of fun for yourself and with your children as well, and find out what challenges you've overcome or want to overcome as well. That's also an interesting one to discuss. Okay, so here is, believe it or not, we do carry around a 10-foot inflatable brain, which normally we take to schools.
And that is a challenge, isn't it?
That is a challenge, but one we have overcome. Yeah, definitely. But if anybody would like any more information, or if you want to find out any more about Grow Your Mindset, all our details are there, our website, our email address, my telephone number, and we are on all social media platforms, and there's lots of useful stuff for parents and children as well for you to access should you need it. So I will stop sharing our screen now. And there you go. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been delightful to have so many people join us. And enjoy the rest of your 7-day challenge week.
Yeah, exciting to see what's on tomorrow.
Definitely. Okay, I'm going to leave the stopping live to you now, Liz.
Yeah, I'm clicking. See you, everybody.
Bye, everyone. See you later. Bye.